Good morning. I'd like to share some thoughts on modeling matter. And as I get into this discussion here, or these thoughts, I'm going to keep as a background Schrödinger's equation of matter as a wave, which he represented by this equation, where the wave function psi is a function of the incremental change in time. So let's keep this in mind. And the way that I'm modeling matter is through the unified field equation that I derived some months ago. And as a recollection, the essential part is there are three matrices, if you will, and the first matrix is a light matrix, and I believe light is central to this whole modeling because in light there's a codification, and this codification expresses itself in subsequent layers of matter as the complexity in matter increases. So from quantum particles, subsequently to atoms, subsequently to cells, and so on. But if we think about this light, what I have depicted in this unified equation is four layers, which I have chosen as the layer, untransformed layer. So this is a layer that we're aware of, where light travels at a finite speed, and because of that finiteness, there's a certain nature of reality that's set up, and this nature has to do with creating a past, present, future, and sense of separation, which can all be derived from this finiteness of light. But there's a deeper essence behind these, and that deeper essence I had depicted as existing as a layer where light travels at an infinite speed, and we can think of that as presence, power, knowledge, and harmony being the deep codification that exists in light. And subsequently there was a layer K and a layer N, but the reality at this layer K is a function of the reality that exists at this layer. The reality of the layer N is a function of the reality that exists at CK. The reality at CU is a function of the reality that exists here at N. And what we had derived earlier was that these essences break up into a number of sets that create all the creative possibility that then precipitates into this untransformed layer that subsequently, through the continued action of emergence, becomes more and more transformed. So I had represented this layer here as sets of presence, set of power, set of knowledge, set of harmony, and this layer here, which represents the uniqueness of every single construct, no matter how small or how large, at the untransformed layer, through a combination of the different elements in these sets. So we can simply represent that as being a function of the set of presence multiplied by the set of power, multiplied by the set of knowledge, multiplied by the set of harmony, which should give us an infinite number of elements that become seeds through which the whole emergence in space and time occur. So therefore the second matrix here was looking at the emergence in space, and simply saying we have this untransformed layer which basically has four sets. We can think of these sets as the physical, vital, mental, and integral, which are in their essence reflections of presence, power, knowledge, and harmony. So you have these four untransformed sets, and to the degree that we are able to overcome the patterns so that exist in each of these sets, we allow this layer of the signatures to become active. And to the degree then that these signatures become independent forces, we allow this layer here to become more active, and the reality here is a reflection of these sets, basically of very innovative qualities. So these sets, and to the degree that the forces become completely impersonal, we allow the master essences represented by system, these deep system essences, to become active. So there's this emergence in space, and if we think of how this might play out in time, then we have this layer M3, or this deep intelligence, love, power, harmony that's present in every single space-time instant of our system, is active through all time. There's a precipitation at M2, so that M2 is active at some time, perhaps greater than or equal to 0 all the way to infinity. M1 is active for time greater than 0 to infinity. And U, where we begin to have more complexity at the cellular level, and then greater collectivities, human collectivities and other collectivities, we depict this as two lines. So we have some kind of arbitrary point, 13.8, 10 to the 9 years, which supposedly where cellular life emerges, where we have what we call the transformation circle acting basically from M3 to U, meaning that there's an automaticity in the intelligence that we see at cellular life. But then at a time, so this is a time greater than or equal to 13.8, so at a time greater than 13.8 to 10 to the 9 years, where we have the basis of collectivities based on these cells, we see the reversal where will becomes more active. And so the transformation essentially from these untransformed sets to a transformed set occurs through more and more through the action of will, integration, love, and so on. But we also had represented that this entire equation is iterative. It has an iterative quality to it, so that in the next iteration, this untransformed set is the previous transformed set, which we depict in this manner. And this whole thing we had represented as the equation of this unified field in which everything emerges. But if we break this up a little further so that we can then link to Schrodinger's equation here, then essentially what we are looking at is 4 parts, because we have these 4 essential essences or sets, which at this end we may call them physical, vital, mental, integral, and at this end presence, power, knowledge, harmony. So let's depict this whole possibility in this manner here. So we have this kind of block, And this block itself, we can think of as having 4 partitions, so that when we're talking about this matter expressed as a wave, as Schrodinger had envisioned it, then basically this delta psi is actually a more complex breakup of the delta in at least 16 different compartments, if you will. So we can think of this one here to just to give an idea of being the delta of P over T at the untransformed layer U. So let's express that this way. So we have that this delta psi over T is can be expressed as delta physical. So what's the change that's happening at U? Similarly, what's the change in this component that's happening at U? And we also have, so for example, if we go up here, looking at this signature M, then what's the change that's happening in this component here, which is happening at M1, and so on. So there's 16 kind of breakups. So when we think about Schrodinger's equation and his modeling of matter as a wave, then essentially what this equation is saying is that there's more than just a wave here, because it's this layer is maybe expressed as particles, this layer is wave, this layer is field, and this layer is a block. So instead of a wave particle duality, what we really have is a particle wave field block quadrality. And essentially, if we think about this equation, which is a unified field, then as both Schrodinger and Einstein have said, that anything that emerges in the field is not separate, it's one with the field. And so there's a unity that exists, and what we're looking at is this quadrality. And yet another way to think about this is that this equation, what we're calling the unified field, which is really a unified particle wave field block, is also representing innately the nature of love. And so there's, you may think of the action of this field or this equation as being bound by love, and love is really this multi-layered, multi-depth reflection of this quadrality, which Schrodinger's equation gives us an insight into as much as a century ago, but I feel is more fully represented by this kind of depiction here.